Hey everyone, welcome to part 10 of making challenge mode. So we're still in episode 2 and we're leaving it off. Right now we've covered this event that kicks off whether we're going to keep this hapless guard named Gerard alive or not. So for this event, if the guard alive is 0, we just turn on the self switch A and we're going to leave him there on it. We don't have the best cleanup mode really here, so we can decide to fill that in later. Um, and I say that because if we do get to this point, we may just keep having a dead card that stays in the game the entire time if this is what your outcome is. That could be funny, that could be game breaking in some ways, so we're going to have to think about that. But the good news is that we can pretty easily revisit it in later playthroughs. So we can see that it's going to start blank and it's only checked on guard's luck of whether you decided to be nice to him or not. So either it's going to control self switch A or B, where he's a member, and then C comes on to turn him on or off. Now we have these two characters. This is going to be kind of important because we want to make sure we talk to them. Admittedly, story-wise, we don't have a lot that necessarily keeps our player from doing so. But the good news is there's not a lot of room forward or backwards to explore. But what we can do is make sure they don't progress in the story without it. So let's look at this door first, of all things. So we have another switch of rivalry being on. As long as it is on, we can see that the door will work. But else, we have to talk to the warriors first. This is a switch we're really not going to be turning off. But that's just because, we want a rivalry setting that lasts fairly throughout the game. And now we have Jess and Haley here. So Haley is going to be our rival, and Jess is going to just decide to jump in with us because we saw it. So if the guard NPC is off, she just has you explain it. We kind of do a fade out, fade in screen. For a little bit of dramatic effect, we can just go ahead and go into tab 2 and hit wait. I don't know. We can do it 90, so a second and a half. Just long enough for you to see and imply that your character's been talking them through. And then fade in the screen. Now we can see that Jess says, what a jerk. And then that ends. And then she doesn't have any reason to join you or not. If the guard NPC is on, you're just going to get this text. So that's enough of a variability that, we don't have to add a ton of functionality to our game, which is the good news. But we do make it so that we're making sure we're tracking our decisions of whether this guard is still alive and in our party or not. Now, again, my preference is always just to fade out the screen. Make sure that Jess being an active switch is on, and then Jess alive equals 1. So, at this point, I really think I should clarify in the videos of why we have the difference between an alive variable and a switch variable. This is going to be important later on because RPG Maker's functionality really only lets you have 4 characters at a time. And we're just going to stick to that because we're teaching how to make a game off the base engine. So, we can turn the switch of Jess being on or off even if she's alive or not, because maybe when we add more characters, we don't necessarily have her in our party. But if we do have her, kind of like if you've seen in other RPGs, if you have that character present, it's going to matter a little bit more, or you get a little bit of a story icon with it. It's going to be very essential that if we have character-specific things we want to do, we make sure that we have the ability for the game to check whether Jess is present or not. And then whether or not Jess is alive is another factor altogether. So that's why I kind of have us, it's not kind of, it's why I have us double tapping this, as it were. If Jess is never alive and Zero and completely out of the party, then what we're going to want to do is make sure that, like, she can't, and then this switch will be off forever. But if we want to keep her alive, then this switch can turn on and off whether or not you keep her. Then, we make sure we go into the new mode where she's completely blank, and we fade back in the screen. Just some last dialogue here to go for it. So we don't have a lot of the story elements to her. There's an intentional reason for this because it gets a little bit tricky. Because as we talk on Haley, Haley is going to be our game's rival. Random name generator to pick it. Don't really know or care why. So, our player hoping that we get another companion, but she quickly says no, that she's going to figure everything out on her own. So we tried to have her just move off screen. I think with too many people and the through, it looks a little jarring. So it's better just to have her disappear, in our opinion. And then we fade in the screen. Then we turn that switch, the rivalry, on so we can actually get through the door. Jess is going to talk to us no matter what. And then she's going to get into some explanations. And this is also why we keep Jess and the previous events info a little bit light, if you notice. So that's why, this is going to matter of, like, in a scenario, whether you talk to her or not, maybe you did, maybe you didn't. We can't do everything right on the first go, but we've kept her light so that she can either be in the party and have this conversation or not. And then we just kind of had a little fun with it of, if the guard NPC is on, the guard will flirt with Jess, and if not, Elliot will. Yeah, I mean, character romances, whether or not that matters or not, it's more of just a fun function of showing that, hey, we can have a lot of variability in whether or not certain NPCs are alive or not. And that happens very early in the game. So it's just something to consider as you go in. Okay, so that is, 3 videos that maybe don't capture absolutely every element of making this game. But as we're designing it, we can see that a lot happens early on. So it's important to get these things as right as you possibly can. Nothing's ever perfect. We'll probably be making corrections on it. But the video game files are in the description below. Thank you, everyone. And I'll see you in episode 3 and making this game at part 11. All right, everybody. Happy gaming.